Hi, this is Linda
And this is Leslie.
with Let's Talk.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Hey, Linda, it's been a minute. Let's do some talking today. I really want to talk to you about something that's been on my heart.
Okay.
And it's about of offenses and things that bother us and how it can just germinate into like something bigger than what it really should have been in the beginning.
Oh, can you explain?
Well, okay, I'm just going to throw this out here. Um, a question that I'm going to pose to you, and I want you to bring it back to me. Do I take the bait? In
Mm,
other words, if someone that's relatively close to me does something that causes me to take the bait, in other words, be offended, how do I avoid that? And with the consequence of jeopardizing a close friendship.
ooh.
So, especially when it's something that's close to your heart, and I think that's how when we take when we take offense, it's because it's something that's close or it's coming from someone that's close. Would you say that?
I like that. But there's one word I don't want you to skip that you're using. You said take the bait. That means you have a choice.
That's good.
I like that.
Okay. Okay. And it's true, we do have a choice,
Mhm.
and I'm going to bring it back to me. Yes, I do have a choice. And I could take the bait and really just blow it all up and make it bigger than what it probably is.
Mhm.
Or I can just say, that's just who they are and keep it moving. But it's hard to get to that point. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's hard to just get right there. I can't just get right there in an instant. I can if I choose to, but sometimes it's hard to make that choice.
Yeah, because you're in the moment. And I think the first thing you have to catch yourself to get out the moment and then realize what's the situation and realize you have a choice. Because we say take the bait all the time, or we use that example, but we don't realize, are we going to take it? Do you have an example to give or to share?
Yeah, well, I have a friend who we've been friends for a number of years. And this particular instance, um, I've been trying to reach out, and every time I reached out, I was feeling slighted. And nobody calls anybody on the phone anymore. Now everything is just texting. So you say your part, that person says their part, and then they're done. But in this particular instance, I said something like, hey, let's get together, blah, blah, let's celebrate your birthday. And they were like, okay, cool. Now, how do I take that? Do I take it like, okay, cool, like you really don't want to? Or do I take it like, cool, you don't have enough time to really respond? Or how do I take that? Well, my first instance was like, maybe I'm bothering this person. Maybe they really don't want to. Maybe they're just saying that out of obligation because they celebrated my birthday.
Mm,
And knowing about that person in terms of my experiences with that person, my mind is like, okay, that's just who she is. So I am going to just keep it moving and act like it didn't even happen. But it did happen. And I don't want to stay there and just park there. And if something else comes up, then that gets on top of that offense. You know what I mean?
mhm.
And then here's another thing that's I'm working through. And then all it takes is just one thing, pop, and then everything comes out. It all comes out of the wash. And
Right,
that's not good.
right.
So, and I know if I say something to them, because in times past, oh, girl, that's just you. And that's not cool either, because when you brush it off and put it on me. I'm just going to put it all on me. I'm not going to make it a third person conversation. When people brush it off and put it on me, that makes me even more offended because
Yeah,
I'd rather just deal with it and say, hey, validate my feelings. If I feel this way, if it's wrong for me to feel this way, let me know why. Say, hey, Leslie, it's not even that way. I got a lot on my mind right now, and XYZ.
mhm.
But it's never been that way. It's always, girl, that's just you.
So what would you do different now that you know you have a choice? How are you looking at it? How can you still have a healthy relationship with that person?
Well, the only thing that I can say, so I will not take debate, so to speak, is to sincerely have a conversation and say, hey, let's not put it on, that's just you. Can I just really sit down with you and tell you how I feel without getting emotional and without getting more hurt? Because I know that's what the enemy loves to do, loves to break up relationships, especially if it's a godly friendship, or is built upon godly foundation, so to speak. We're both Christians, we both love the Lord, and we've had very deep conversations, especially about difficult things in my life. And I always felt like I was going to the couch when I would talk to them. And sometimes you don't want to go to the couch. Sometimes I just want to vent. I don't want to be counseled. I just want to talk about what's on my heart. And then it comes back, oh, that's just you. I'm offended again.
Yeah.
So, but it's been that way for so long that I've just chucked it up like, okay, that's just the nature of this particular person's personality. But I guess now in this phase in my life, I want to get past that. I don't want to be offended over something that is really not that, well, it is important because it bothers me. So it's obviously important, but something that can just be detrimental to a relationship that doesn't necessarily have to be. Am I making sense? I know I'm kind of rambling, but am I making sense?
You are. It sounds like to me you're saying that you want your feelings to be validated. When you have a problem with that person and you're trying to talk to someone about it, you want to at least be acknowledged. I mean, it's not even saying who fault it is, but just being heard of how you feel. And with a friend, you expect that. Now, that's the trouble we get in a little bit, because our expectations on people are not always fair for the type of person they are,
Good.
but that's just how you feel, and you have a right to your feelings. The problem is your expectations for that person is probably where you're starting to go off from. So it's re-looking at your expectations for that person, or what type of friend is that person. I know, like with me and you, we can stop talking for months at a time and pick up
years.
Yeah, it has been years sometimes too. And we can just pick up where we go. But I'm also learning it's our character and our personality of who we are at the same time. Majority of my friends, and you probably could say the same thing, are far and few as in talking, because I'm so busy, and they have the same personality as I do, that they're just as busy. So I know if something happened and I need them, they would be there, and they know I would be there for them. But just an everyday pick up the phone and talk, or even once a week, is not realistic for my schedule. There is some people I do that to, more family members, but just everyday friends. Sometimes I don't talk to, there's one friend that I love dearly. I only call her when I drive down she lives off a main street that I go down. I only call her when I'm driving down that main street. And I love her to death, and she knows she can call me for anything. But I'll call her while like I'm 2 blocks about to go by, because she can actually see the street from her house. And there was a couple of times I called and I'll roll down my window and wave. She can actually see me wave.
Oh, wow.
And I have her on the phone and she's waving back, and you have a good laugh, and I keep going, And there's times I drive out on the street and she's not at home, and I still leave her a message saying, hey, I'm on your street, I'm waving, even though I know you're not there, And that's our relationship, and I love. And every now and then, if I'm in the area and I have time afterwards, hey, let's go out, or let's do this, let's do lunch, let's go to the store, But that's just my relationship with her for this season. And that's the thing, is this season, that's where we're at because of our busyness and what's going on with, I want to say drive-by, but that probably don't sound right.
Drive-by friendship.
Yeah, drive-by friendship.
But Linda, that's good. I like that you said that, because here's the thing, it takes away the expectation.
The pressure.
Because if and the pressure, because if you feel like, okay, this is a seasonal thing, And yeah, I don't necessarily have to talk to that person all the time because I don't. And you're right, because of the busyness of both of our schedules, we just don't. But I like that because here it gets the pressure off of feeling like I should be offended because whatever the reason may be. And a lot of that offense, and I'm gonna make it general, a lot of offenses are in our own minds,
Yes.
you know, because it's not necessarily that person. Like here, I'm just gonna use you and I as an example. Okay, I don't talk to you all the time, but I'm not offended that we don't. And I think it's just because the nature of how we have been for 30 plus years, almost 40. Um, so I guess that's the key is seasons. There's
Yeah,
a
next year
season for
will be
everything.
40 years. I just thought about that. Next
Not
year,
quite, not quite, Linda, because, oh,
next year, 82. And next year will be 2020. I mean 2022.
oh my
Next year
land.
will be 40 years. We're gonna have to like
40 years of friendship.
Yep. Next summer. And with
Wow.
that, we can not talk and then go through things. Even when we do this podcast together, people don't know a lot of these are pre-recorded because of our busy life. And we decide to take a month off because of the holiday or just different things already in our schedule that we pick back up. And we're not bitter or mad. And you even said that today. I talked to you like one time within the month and it was about the podcast.
Exactly. Linda, I'm still just floored here that it's been almost 40 years. It will be 40 years. I've never heard of that. I mean, I've heard of it, but I mean, just for us to say it out of our mouth.
Yeah, of being together for 40 years or being in, yeah, our relationship will be 40 years old next year. So,
Wow.
but it is through that different things. And I think what helped made our relationship last 40 years is what we have in common. There's a lot of things that we have in common. There's a lot of things that we went through together, and while we're apart, we still knew we can reach out if we needed each other, but we still
Wow.
our expectations was reasonable for each other.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
You know?
That's the thing. I'm going back to that, Linda, the expectations.
Mm-hmm.
What are we expecting from each other? What are we expecting of people? Because if we put expectations on people that are unrealistic, who's the one that's going to be offended?
Mm-hmm.
The person who's, you know, in this case, it would be me.
Right.
So I'm going to go back to my original question. Do I take the bait? No, it's a choice. It's a choice. Because what happens when we take the bait? What happens, Linda, when we take that bait? I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to answer that question. I know what happens. Offense sets in. And what do offenses do? They draw a wedge. And what do wedges do? They separate.
Mm-hmm.
And what does separation do? It isolates. And what does isolation end up doing? You are on the island by yourself and you get picked off and nobody's there to help.
Mm-hmm. All because you took the bait.
So what's the key? What's the key, Linda? Don't take the bait.
Key, Leslie? What's the key? What
Don't take the bait.
But how do you not do that?
By making a choice.
By making a choice.
And by not putting unreasonable expectations on people.
That's it right there. That's it. We should have minimum. And if they do more, that's a blessing.
Yeah.
You know, but why do we put all this stuff on them? And then it's so weird because sometimes people put so much more expectation on somebody else that they're not willing to do themselves. You know?
That's right.
So
That's right.
it's crazy. It's you
That's
know,
right.
I'd rather put minimum and then be surprised. The person I use the example about the drive-by friend because of our season right now.
Yeah.
We went it was a couple of years ago. Me and my husband took a drive up the coast, and we were like 14 hours away from home. And my son really needed to go to the emergency room And he called and he was like, I'm going to drive myself, but he couldn't. That friend that I haven't talked to for a while, I called her and she took him to the emergency room, brought him back home, and she stayed while we drove, turned around and drove 3 hours
Wow.
back straight to be with him. We got back home like at 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that. She
Wow.
stayed, and I'll never forgive her, and I thank her for that. And
Wow.
my expectation of our friendship was, I know I can call her, but to me that was a whole nother level of volunteering to stay with him, to give us that
Wow.
peace of mind while we're driving back,
Yeah.
and while he was in the urgent care, she went to go pack her stuff, to make
Wow.
sure she can stay. So from the time her picking him back up to bring him home, she's going to be with him the whole time. And
Wow.
that still to this day is like, I totally appreciate
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Like, but my expectation was, can you just take them to the emergency room? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
give us, and she was like, well, how far are you? Where you guys at? We're like, we're 14-hour drive away. And we were trying to decide,
Wow.
did one of us just get on the plane and fly back? You know what I mean? Like all that stuff. She was like, no, I'll stay with them. Go ahead,
Wow.
drive back together, enjoy your time. Because I think it was our anniversary trip or something like that. It was like
Wow.
our time together. Just like, still enjoy your time together. And,
Yeah.
I got this. And she will ever be in my heart for that.
Wow.
So
I love it. I
yeah.
love it. Wow. And you know what, Linda, just hearing that far outweighs anything else.
Mhm.
And not saying we put a balance, not saying we put weights on friendships, but when the good outweighs the bad,
Mm,
then
yeah.
everything's a wash. Everything's a wash.
What do you think about hard times? I know there's some people that I went through such hard times with. I know we've been through since we were young. We had a lot of little hard
Had a
times.
little crazy hard times. Mostly your fault, but I'm not going to say anything.
See, there we go. I was starting and you ended. See, you got to take that. But we've been through hard times with people, and those people I might haven't talked to in years, but they call me because of that battle we went through, that war we went through, that dying situation for whatever cause or whatever reason at that
Yeah.
period. They're so still in my heart. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like when you go to war with somebody, mentally, physically, it's like they create a bond in you.
Yes. Yes.
That you cannot talk to them for years,
Mm-hmm.
and it does not matter. They have not changed in your mind and in your world, that they're still that person that you can depend and count on.
That's good,
Compared to
Linda.
somebody that you never had a battle with, you never had problems or situation or any pain that you guys went through together. You
That's so
kind of like,
good.
but when you know that you went through something with somebody, it seemed like you're a lot closer than a friend that you only hang out with good times. Have you noticed
Mm-hmm.
that? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Fair weather friends. I remember hearing that saying growing up. A fair weather friend, one that's just around when the weather is fair.
oh wow. See, I never heard of that term before. Okay.
A fair weather friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good, Linda. I like this. And you just talked me off of the ledge. So I'm very happy about that. I'm not offended anymore because you're right. I'm not going to put unreasonable expectations on people that I myself wouldn't want to be put on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when the good outweighs the bad, everything else is a wash.
Right.
And that's how it is. And when we walk in love, because that's the key right there, walking in love, it goes back to that. Love is patient, love is kind,
Yes.
love is easily entreated. It has no motives of ill intent. It doesn't take the bait. That's what love is. And that's what Jesus did. He walked in love. And far be it from me, because I'm gonna put it on me because I started this conversation, to be any less of a person or a friend than how the Lord has modeled for us.
Yes. But
That's
you
it.
have to be realistic, Leslie. You can't expect everybody to be the same level that you are. There's some friends that you give your 110%, or just let's be real, 100%. and there is friends of yours that's only giving 30. You know what I mean? And you got to understand that's just where they're at. And
That's just
you
where
are
they
going
are.
to make that choice. Are they going to be closer or not? There's other ones at
Exactly.
40, there's other ones that's giving you 100 as well. You know, it really, every friendship is not at the same level that you're offering.
Exactly.
You know, like I would give whatever I have to help somebody,
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean that friend is going to give me whatever they have to help me. And
exactly.
I have to understand and respect that my level of friendship with them is not the same as theirs to me.
Yeah, yeah. And the flip side is it too. They can be thinking the same thing about us. Oh, their level of friendship to me is not 100%. Their level of friendship is just 30%. So, okay, yeah. So you're right. No unreasonable expectations. Just be be real. Just be kind and just keep it moving. Here's the thing, Linda. If our audience liked what they heard, and I know they did because I did, right? And I got counseling today. I got good counseling. Please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. We want to get this message out to as many people as we can, because this is the thing. It's all about life's lessons, laughter and love. Because the
Yes.
ultimate goal is to do what? Make relationships that last.
I love when you say that. Until next time, everyone, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.